In our own golf industry and basically all industries there are, it seems not correct to speak about your own personal life stuff. To me, it has felt and even been told to me to not bring up my stuff about being a Christian because that's not right to do in the business side. So I had not done so ever, basically. Yet the reason I actually had not ever done so was because of who I really was. It was easy to claim that stuff told to me was accurate and I should not ever do so in our golf industry because it was wrong to do. Well, I'm about to tell you about my stuff right now actually. I'll actually, like let you know why I did not do so back in the past either. When I was a little kid, I didn't go to church, but in middle school, my best friend's mom had me start going with them as I'd stay with my friend for the weekend and stuff. And, you know, then ended up joining the church and going constantly. And in high school, the youth group went to a place, for many youth groups to connect from like all around our region. And I actually finally took the first step to the front of the youth group trip, like church place, and one evening and wanted to become a Christian. One of the older guys standing beside me, though, just whispered to me a little bit and said, man, this is all good, and I do it every year and stuff. And it made me feel like this wasn't actually as real and like important as I felt it was. So I stayed there, and then when I went back to our church, days later, I was asked to be baptized, and I was dropped into the water. So starting then, from my teenage, age, and I confirmed from then on that I was a Christian. I then went on to college, and after college, and the many years, I was certain always that I was a Christian and saved because I had done what I did back then. I was never like super evil or committed crimes and extreme things over all the time. For so many years, I attended church and even was actually doing good stuff in there, and would even bring my Bible with me. So, well, in 2013, I was in a small group of people, and they were actually all being open about how they even like made some mistakes and maybe didn't understand certain things in scripture. And so I did become actually truly interested in this because I had not heard others from any church ever talk about that, how they weren't perfect. So I knew how I had claimed to not ever be sinful, but I heard these people being honest. Then one of them read the scripture of Matthew 7:21 through 23, and I had the first physical feeling inside of my body at that moment. And I didn't just ignore it nor push it away. Here it is, Matthew 7:21 through 23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. It impacted me instantly because I heard the question, why? From the Lord. Why was I doing what I was doing and had been doing? Even though I had been pretty dang good and had attended church and not done a single crime, I still saw myself being one of those types of people once I left the earth and came to the gate of heaven. I could say how I had done a lot of great things, and I for sure know I'm supposed to be in heaven at that very moment. Then, the very second the Lord would simply ask me why I did all those things, and up there, I wouldn't have any possibility to be able to lie to Him. My answer would be that I did so actually for my own self and my own stubborn hearted ways. Once, I would have to have the truth come out of why I had done those things, then the Lord wouldn't hate me, but He would definitely respond that He never actually knew me my whole time, since I had decided to not ever truly actually know Him, nor be actually connected with Him. That scripture was just the first that I had actually had my heart truly turned to. I am positive that I had so many verses be shared to me over time that were impacted, yet I would likely instantly just ignore them and forget about them and, forget about it right then. As that one did strike me, I played a game a little bit for, just going through and just could not stop thinking about it though. A few weeks later, as I was leaving my day from my own golf course, I headed home and had a traffic light pop up red, so I had to stop, and I could feel the clear presence to pray to God. I had done a lot of prayers over years, but they were all the list of checking the box and actually telling Him to forgive me of my sins. This time, the traffic light stayed red for a little while long, and as that traffic light stopped me, it was the first moment of my life that I genuinely, purely spoke to the Lord. That prayer was nothing like those ones from my past. The ones from my past, if anyone heard, would have sounded good, for real, because I was speaking about good things. But this prayer, if anyone else heard it, would not sound like a nice Christian prayer at all. The way I prayed to Him was that I acknowledged my wrongs, and I even said to Him that if He was really real and who I was now knowing who He was, that I wanted to have my life changed and to really live my life for Him starting right now, and no longer live my life for my own self. I spoke to Him in an open and honest and genuine way, and did confess my many wrongdoings that I had been doing for so long. I truly had my heart know that I did really want to live my life for Him in any ways, rather than me keep being selfish and satisfying. At that time, speaking with the Lord Almighty for the first time in my life, my vehicle began to shake. Smoke began to come out of the vents, and snow began to fall even during the opposite season. Alright, sorry, I'm only the most highly sarcastic person in the world, so I had to add some goofiness to my story. So none of those little things actually did happen after the prayer with God. So as the time of truly praying with Him ended, the traffic light turned green and I moved forward. That time of that light turning green had me just go forward, which was, how my own life was like. I became a true believer of God, but still did not just instantly become perfect, but has still continued to go forward and continue to do so. The majority of my life was a good cultural Christian who did check the boxes and do basically good things, even though I didn't do miraculous things like those guys who Jesus gave that example about, I still would be just like that as I walked into heaven for the first time, and would have argued to the Lord that I had deserved to be inside there. What is awesome to learn about from my own testimony and from so many people we heard about in Scripture is that even though I lived the majority of my life as the opposite of being a true believer, I still was saved by God the very moment I actually, genuinely, and purely spoke to Him and admitted I was totally wrong. I'm not some perfect person even now, nor do I, now never make mistakes. All humans do sinful things that are bad, but I do constantly confess and acknowledge my wrongs because I do not like to do them, and I do recognize them. Those sinful ways may seem satisfying, but for anybody, but every single one of them ends up bad for everybody. Any of those selfish, stubborn-hearted ways never will continue, on wonderful for anyone at all. Oops, my bad. This is a writing about turf grass in the golf industry. I wasn't supposed to tell all that stuff. I meant to just quickly mention that I was good at grass and loved dealing with my team and coworkers and golfers and members. Sorry, I just should have, said that simple message since we're not supposed to speak about God in our business industries. Since I already did wrong by speaking about my personal life, and I know I'm going to be fired again by someone at some point because of it, just go ahead and hear this last piece of information. If you have claimed to be a Christian lately, or even for so many years, yet you are acknowledging that it has been basically fake like my own former decades, then you can be still with the one and only God. Also, even if you have never even believed that God is real at all, yet somehow this has made you feel something inside you that has you curious in a way for the first time, then you can be still with the one and only God. My legit information is that you should absolutely not believe in me at all, nor ever follow me, nor think highly of me. Instead, you should and can believe and follow the one who is above all. No matter who you are or whatever you have ever done, you can simply, shortly begin to speak to God right now in a pure way, and you will end up being amazed as you do truly begin to believe in Him. As that traffic light first turns green and you move forward, it doesn't mean that everything will occur instantly, amazingly, but as you do continue to move forward, you will continue to see so many times how amazing He is and how He even does miraculous things in your own life. The only thing that you should agree with me about is that we should trust in the only one who created this world and is above all things. Trust in the Lord for sure. He is having His hands raised up in front of you right now just for you to notice Him and for you to walk towards Him.